Hi. We lost to an expansion team again. Damn it. The Sharks go to Seattle for the very first time and end up on a wrong side of a 3-2 score. I'll break it down. We'll get some quotes from the locker room, and let's do this right now on Teal Town After Dark. Good evening, everyone. It is Thursday night, January 20th, 2022. The Sharks lose to the Seattle Kraken by the score of 3-2, and with that, they lose a golden opportunity to gain ground tonight. We welcome you to this edition of Teal Town After Dark. This is your live interactive Sharks post-game. We do this after every game, so if you want to be part of the show, here's how you do it. Join us and along with Sharks fans on the page or the app, and of course follow us on the social, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, SoundCloud, Reddit, Discord. Should I mention TikTok now? And find everything at tealtownusa.com. And with that, everyone, good evening. Eric Kerr running solo tonight, at least for now, as the Sharks lose their first trip into Seattle by a score of 3-2, and 2 regulation wins in their last 11 games for the Seattle Kraken. They come at the expense of the San Jose Sharks, losing ground in frustrating fashion. But the thing is, you start Adin Hill, who's been on a great run, allowing just 2 goals in his last handful of games. You get Barabanov back from COVID protocol. Unfortunately, you get Rudolph Spalsters onto COVID protocol, considering that both of them have been on a great run as of late. So let's lock and load and grip it and rip it onto this one. So Hill starts, and he's going up against Philip Grubauer. And let's be honest here, Grubauer is making Martin Jones look like a Vezina winner. Last year with Colorado, he had a 1.95 goals against and 7 shutouts. Entering tonight, he has a 3.31 goals against and an 882 save percentage. Things should look very good for the Sharks, and they did early on. In fact, 37 seconds in, Tomas Hertl gets a nice pass from Barabanov, who steals it off of a Kraken attempted clear, and they bury it into an open net to make it 1-0 San Jose. You thought this is looking good, getting into it and everything. First period went back and forth, and in fact, there was even Carlson with the post shot, even chucked it up with Grubauer early on, thinking that he actually made the save, but he didn't. But then just a few seconds after that happened, Carlson would take a penalty at 12:47. Pardon that. There you go. And that makes it 1-0 after 1 period of play. Looking at the shots early on, 8-6 in favor of San Jose. So moving onward here, as I look at some of your comments, as the second period would go in favor of the Seattle Kraken, definitely a bounce back period for them, where you had a tough go at it for sure. The Kraken came out, using their tentacles and going after each other, despite getting outshot 11-7 in the middle frame. But it would be the Carson Soucy show, as he would get a pair of goals, getting past Adin Hill to make it 2-1 after 2 periods of play. Seattle would then eventually get some fortunate bounces as 5 seconds after Soucy's second goal of the game, VL would take an unfortunate high sticking call. However, it was actually Jonas Donskoy stick lifting, and VL's stick goes right into Geeky. Thankfully, just a 2-minute minor for that. So a tough one in the span of 8.5 minutes in the middle frame. It all went downhill from there. Couture would take a hooking call to give the Kraken a brief 5-on-3 to make it more interesting, but Seattle didn't do anything with that. Soucy would then get into things as Adam Raska really threw his body around. Yeah, he didn't score anything tonight, but he definitely, was laying out some hits. He laid out a big hit on Kraken captain Mark Giordano. Soucy would take a cross check. Raska and Giordano would drop the gloves. Soucy's cross-checking penalty would give the Sharks a power play. And, what a shock. The Sharks didn't do anything on the power play. We got one game where they scored a pair of power play goals, which is great. Terrific. Thank you, Timo Meier, for your 5-goal game. But, I'm looking at the stats here for the Sharks tonight, and 1 for 6 on the power play, and they would eventually capitalize, on it, but no dice on that one. So they go into the third period down 2-1, and unfortunately for the Sharks, they would give up an insurance marker via. I don't even have it listed on here. Via Kalle Järnkrok to make it a 3-1 hockey game, and then the parade to the penalty box would start for Seattle. They took 5 minors in the third period, which is unprecedented, unless you're an expansion team, a real expansion team. It was you would get Carson Soucy for slashing Timo Meier. You would get Jeremy Lauzon taking a pair of calls within a minute 9. He took a holding call on Adam Raska, threw him into the net. That would set up another Sharks power play. Then a minute 9 later, after Timo Meier scored, yes, I know that kind of comes as a surprise, Meier scores his 21st to make it a 3-2 hockey game. Don't go away, people. There's your teaser goal. Lauzon would take a high sticking call against Matt Nieto, just a minor there, but the Sharks couldn't get anything mustered on that. And then not even 5 seconds after the penalty expired on the high sticking call to Lauzon, excuse me. That's for you, Jay and Katie. I hope you're watching tonight from Nashville. The Kraken would take a hella dudes penalty. That one's for you, Shalana Goldman. Hey, we're giving out shout-outs tonight. Why not? When I'm running this show by myself. So a hella dudes penalty at 12:14. You're thinking this is the chance, the best chance. I think the Sharks power play is getting a little out of, a little too fancy again. We're doing the drop pass thing. We're doing the setup. Shots are going wide. It's a tough one. And then, of course, with a minute 7 to go, the absolute I don't want to say dive. He probably brought down Alexander Barabanov a little early. But Mason Appleton goes off for a hooking call with a minute 7 left in regulation. Sharks couldn't do much, even with the 6-on-4, and that's how it would end, folks, with a 3-2 Seattle victory. They go to 12-23-4. Like we said, their last 2 regulation wins have been at the hands of the San Jose Sharks, who have playoff aspirations. They definitely had a chance to gain some ground tonight, and we'll get in that too with the wrap around if we get that donation going here. But looking at it as it is right now, let's check out the chat and some of the comments coming in. So this is live and interactive, and of course, because it's yours truly, let's take a look at what you have to say on this night here. Big Bird, WTF, boo except for the first goal. After that, the Sharks were sleeping with the fishes. Poor effort, poor execution with huge implications. Could have jumped into number 2 spot in the West. I think more so the number 2 spot in the Pacific, if anything. Jim in FLA, good evening to you. Legit playoff teams don't lose games to expansion teams, especially a bad one. The Sharks are pretenders and need to use this time before the trade line to build for next year. Walter Johnson saying too many overpaid clowns. What a horrible, horrible loss from Steve Rector. I hope I'm getting your name right, and thank you for joining us, Abismo. I don't want this team anywhere near the playoffs, honestly. No finish on the opportunities they are given. Frustrating as hell. There were, and that's the thing, is that they were right in the thick of it and couldn't get the job done. Honestly, they just couldn't get the puck even on net at times. I mean, they had like about, I think they had like 2 or 3 posts and crossbars on one of the power plays in the second period. So you take that chance and it's just not working out for you, and you just have that bad luck. And when you hit those multiple posts, I almost felt like it was like, oh boy, here we go. Just nothing to get the job done in that one. So Walter saying Burns misses every time. Why let him shoot with the game on the line? Well, let's be honest here, though. How many times have we told this team to shoot? I mean, let's be real here. They've definitely, on a lot of these power plays and going 1 for 6, less passing, more shooting. Let's get pucks on net. You just never know what can happen, and it's just frustrating to see them getting these chances and just not going in. I'm looking at the stats here. Philip Grubauer on 6 power plays took 8 shots. 8 shots on the power play for the Sharks tonight. I mean that's tough. Yeah, 7 of 8 were stopped. The only one that wasn't was that Timo Meier goal in the third period. But with 6 chances, with the firepower this team does have, things need to get going. Things need to get going in a hurry here. But let's get to some of the comments coming out of the locker room. Pardon me, my throat is getting dry. And so with that, just want to say hello to everybody if you're watching. Thank you. I am Eric Cray. You can always follow me at Puckeye14 on here. You're watching Teal Town After Dark. This is your live interactive Sharks postgame. So if you haven't hit the subscribe button already, please do so. It really helps us out a lot. If you would like to donate to the show, you can Venmo us at Teal Town USA, and we'll get you your favorite segment, the wraparound, in just a jiffy. But again, let's go to the locker room here, and Bugner kind of telling it like I was saying it. We got away from how we played at the beginning of the game. Too many turnovers, too fancy. Then we got into penalty trouble. Yep. Excuse me, but that's a recipe for disaster. The turnovers have been an issue ever since they came back from the holiday pause, where they were just giving up turnovers like crazy to Arizona. Give them credit. Their goalie made some saves. They're a hardworking team. We just didn't have enough going for a full 60 minutes. You got to have a 60-minute effort with this team right now in order to go to the postseason, if that's what your goal is. You also need some support. And Bob talks about it right here in the sense that it would be nice to get some offense from the other lines and take pressure off the top line. We generate chances that we have to bury. And this is where the concern is for me. It's like, yes, Timo Meier, 6 goals in 2 games, including a 5-goal game. Tomas Hertl, with his goal tonight, he had scored 5 consecutive goals for the Sharks on the road. That's a franchise first. I mean, pretty nice. But what else? Couture gets a power play assist. Barabanov gets the assist on the opening goal with Hertl. Hertl got an assist himself tonight for a 2-point night. But let's be honest here. Where's the offense? Noah Gregor, you wanted to stick in the NHL. What the heck? Jonathan Dahlin, you went to the second division of the Swedish league, and you demanded to make the team. Dude, where are you at? You know, at one time you were kind of being considered for a Calder candidate. Now that's gone. You know, Barabanov gets his assists. Do we want to call it a dive in the third period? Highly doubtful. Getting back to Bob, the turnover started with the last 2 minutes of the first period. We can't depend on one line for 60 minutes. It's hard to win against a desperate team on the road. And that place was silent early on, especially in the first period. The Sharks let them back into this game, and that's unacceptable. You can't let that happen. You know, Hertl with some comments now. We had a good start, had the lead, then they got all over us, and we couldn't manage the game. We have one of the toughest road trips coming up. We didn't show up today. We'll get to the Sharks' next few games coming up. We'll also talk about the scheduling coming up there. So, also from Hertl, Raska took hits, gave hits. Hard-working kid. He's playing hard hockey. And Raska's trying to show something when he's not expected to be a guy who's going to score. He's throwing his weight around to get at it. Hertl continue on. We lost some easy points. We're in a good spot, but we can't take any nights off. We have to fight. The next 5 games will be hard. We need the points before the break. I think the power play is looking better now, but we really need special teams to chip in. Since we scored right away, maybe we thought it would be an easy game. No one was looking ahead, but they showed up tonight. You can't let the foot off the gas. You know, yeah, you scored 37 seconds in. Yeah, it looks promising. But you know what? You need to be better than that. You do need to be better than that. You know. And you're right. You need more than just Hertl, Meier, Barabanov / Balcers to produce for you. You need Noah Gregor. You need Jonathan Dahlin. You need Logan Couture to do that. You need those timely goals from Andrew Cogliano, Matt Nieto. It would be nice to get some of that in. You know, I'm glad they finally came to their heads and scratched Peterson. You know, Marty T in the chat. Good evening to you, Marty. Raska was definitely one of the high points tonight. Yeah, and we're getting to that. Coconut Kit. Hello to you too. Thanks for joining us. Jim, I haven't gone off the rails that far yet, but this team could literally lose the next 11 games if you look at the schedule. Yeah, the Sharks have an absolutely tough schedule. And again, we'll get into that in just in case. Kevin, hope you're feeling all right, bud. If Raska could strengthen his lower body, he'll be an NHL fourth liner for a very long time. Yeah, absolutely. PJ48, John, thanks for joining me. Too many turnovers. Kevin Lacey. Sharks played that third period bass backwards, Eric. In the middle of the third, they were frantic instead of urgent, playing out of control. End of the game, barely urgent, not enough to tie. Yep. Hit it on the head, Kevin. It's one of those ones where it's like you need that energy, and you didn't even see it in the second period for that matter. And that's the tough part. Proud Hedrick. Less passy, more shooty. Abso-freaking-lutely. And now we go on to the comments from Adam Raska. This is something amazing. I'm just trying to prove myself again and again. I think Soucy told me 2 times, I'm going to kill you. If you gave hits, you have to take some. Yeah, absolutely. If you can't just, take the, give out the hits and expect to not take any. We finish up with, we made a lot of turnovers today, and we have to make it disappear. The guys are smarter and faster here. It's all about the experience in the NHL. So, AJ, thank you very much, of course, as always, for you chipping in on the comments here. And so, appreciate with all that. Sleepy Mofo saying, I'm over the lines, sans the first line. Time to mix it up. Who do you put on the second line with Couture, though? I mean, who do you replace Dolan and Gregor with? Benino and Cogliano? I don't know. I mean, once Balcers is back from COVID protocol, you make a decision. I like how there's some chemistry with Meier, Hertl, and Barabanov. You could definitely see maybe Balcers getting into the second line somehow. You move Gregor down a bit. Who comes out? It'll be so. Where are we? Here. There we go. When does Balcers come back? Well, he just went on COVID protocol. If he's asymptomatic, he should hopefully be back in a few days. So we'll see here. Kevin, a little critical on Barabanov. It's a big reason why I don't buy Barabanov like a lot of folks do. He needs to eat his freaking Wheaties. AJ saying Raskin needs to put Peterson out of his job. I think just by tonight alone would be nice to see. I mean, produced something. So, and Kevin, are we sure Balcers and Barabanov aren't the same person? They never seem to be playing in the same game with each other. Hey, 92, 94, you could rip off just one number really quick on there. That'd be nice, right? So, it's sleepy, really. The Sharks lost because Peterson wasn't in lineup like he was the first game. No comment on that one. But, Sleepy, you do make a great point here. Burns is predictable. In the power play, they pressure him, and he just gets shook. But you know what? That's the other thing. And I think I kind of mentioned that with Kevin the other night. Power play is getting too stagnant, standing around. They're just looking for the other person to do something big. So, and Steven Ortega looking on the bright side here. Hey, at least we're still in the wild card. Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good thing. Way to look on the bright side of things for sure. So. But again, we don't get in. We get a little crazy here as the Sharks start a big schedule going into the All-Star break. I mean, let's get ready for it here as I pull it up. As the Sharks, Saturday they will host Tampa. Good luck with the scheduling of that one, with the Niners playing uh, at the same, practically at the same time. So here's the schedule coming up for the Sharks. So Saturday they're home to Tampa. Then next Wednesday they begin this daunting 4-game road trip that takes us into the All-Star break at Washington. Then go to at Florida. So between after Saturday's game, they'll have Monday, Tuesday off, go to Washington, have Thursday, Friday off, go to Florida. The next day they'll play a back-to-back in Carolina. Then go back to Florida. Who the hell makes these schedules? At Tampa. So you play Tampa in a matter of a week and a half. And also you have Alexander Ovechkin in the Washington Capitals. You have the Florida Panthers, who I believe have averaged 5.7 goals in their last 10 games. You know, Carolina has been a contender as well with this, and then of course Tampa Bay. You know, let's not discount the defending back-to-back Stanley Cup champions. So it's going to be interesting to see how that goes. Then the Sharks get a lull, but here are their next. We'll do their next 11 games. Home to Tampa. Then at Washington, at Florida, at Carolina, at Tampa. You get the All-Star break in, you get a bye week in, and then you have home to Edmonton, home to Vancouver, home to Vegas, at Anaheim. I mean, the Islanders were in the third round the last couple of years. Home to Boston, which needs last-minute help. March 1st, you go to Vegas. Then March 5th, you're going to Nashville, or you're home to Nashville. You know, so, and then you get really into the thick of your division. So it'll be interesting to see how that happens. So, we'll see. And looking at, you know, it's going to be tough. It really is going to be tough. So, but continuing on with the comments in the chat, maybe Hertl and Dahlin and Meier and Couture with the Killer Bees when they're healthy. That's a possibility. Maybe you get Dahlin going, you know. Sharks last. Kathy, good evening to you. Maybe they'll let Sharky play. It's his birthday. Maybe he'll give some boys some mojo. Yeah, they could do it. You know, Ricky Barton-Slager, the power play is pretty hilarious. It's what you call solved. Every other team defends it the same way. Yeah, when it can be stagnant, when it can be predictable, it's time to switch things up. It really is. Tom Dolan, you've got to kind of expect this from a team that has enough good players for two lines, as constituted their first round elimination playoff team. When are we going to talk about Blickfield never getting a call up? To me, he is a finisher on a team overloaded with playmaking wingers who can't finish. Him not getting a call makes me feel like they're done with him already, or done with him entirely. You know, Kevin, you mentioned it right there. Blickfeld is up with the team right now. He's just not in the lineup. But Blickfeld has regressed this season, and I think Brass has been making it a point that he needs to be better to earn a call-up. And maybe that's the thing, is that you have these guys, but you have these guys that, you know, why not? I mean, let's be honest here. Noah Gregor, what are we got? 1 goal in 21 games? I mean, I know Marlowe went on on Schneid's, but this one's ridiculous. You know, and like I said earlier, Jonathan Dolan, where are you? You know, but that's the thing is the team needs more consistency. You know, you can't. You know, yeah, we get excited about a 5-goal game from Teal Meier, and yes, whipping the LA Kings is always nice. But you know, it's just crazy. So those division games after the break will determine Hertl stays a Shark or not. By that's from Jack Olson. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. And you wonder what happens. And with this daunting schedule coming up, whoo, boy howdy, this is going to be real interesting. You know, so. But on the bright side, the Kings and Oilers lost. Yes. So that's the good thing about this, and I know we haven't had the Venmo, but let's do the wraparound. You know, Capitals and Bruins. Bruins win 4-3. Pretty cool, kind of cool moment as Brad Marchand steals a phone from a fan and takes a video and records it a bit. I hope he gave the fan back their phone. We'll see. uh, Stars 5, Sabres 4. Uh, you know, let's see here. Did AJ's favorite player score any points? Oh, they played against Aaron Dell tonight. That's interesting. Let's see how did Joe Pavelski do? Because we all still miss Joe Pavelski, and we hope he signs like a contract here next year. Yeah, right. 2 assists on the night for Pavelski as the Dallas Stars go 4 for 5 on the power play. Oh man, 4 for 5 on the power play. I don't think we've scored 4 goals in a game on a power play since when. The Blue Jackets beat the Flyers 2-1. Laine gets his 6th goal of the year. That contract's working out real, isn't it? Yeah, I know he's been injured. Pittsburgh wins again, 6-4 over the Ottawa Senators. In this one, AJ's 2 favorite Ottawa Senators, Tim Stützle and Josh Norris, score 3 of the 4 Ottawa goals. And that one, Sidney Crosby gets his 7th. Thank goodness for that, because I think there was a meme that was out there saying that Timo Meier scored 5 goals in a game. Sidney Crosby has 5 goals all year. So, a little fun there. Matheson with a pair of goals for the Penguins in that victory. The Predators keep on rolling. They were victorious 5-2 over the Winnipeg Jets. On this one, 5 different goal scorers for the Jets on this night. The big one I think everybody's going to be talking about, the Golden Knights get some revenge on the Montreal Canadiens as the Golden Knights beat Montreal 4-3 in overtime. Shea Theodore with the game-winning goal on that one. So there's that. The Avalanche beat up on LA. That's a big one for the Sharks victory. 4-1 the final as Colorado takes down LA in those chrome helmet uniforms there. No Cale Makar on the goal scoring sheet. Wow. And the big one, and I'm sure more than Leon Draisaitl is pissy about this one, the Panthers shut out the Oilers 6-0 in this one. Alexander Barkov with 2 goals to lead his team to victory in this one. Verhage, Duclair, Bennett, Owen Tippett, guys that are there to beat his goals, So, so AJ, I said earlier in the week, Crosby had 5 goals. Not now. He has 7. Make sure we get that clarified. Oh, man. So, let's see here. So that's your update on the scores. As for the standings, the Sharks, well, they didn't lose ground. They didn't gain ground either, for that matter. As we finish up the night of action in the National Hockey League, the Sharks are at their halfway point. They've played 41 games with 44 points. They lose a golden opportunity to get back, to get into second place of the Pacific. Vegas is at the halfway point themselves at 50. LA is halfway at 45. Anaheim has now played 42 games. They're at 45. So that'll be interesting to see. But Calgary at 42 right behind them. Winnipeg is at 40. So is Dallas at 40. And they have some games in hand. Vancouver at 39. So definitely have they have some padding, but it's not a whole lot. But of course, games in hand. But think of how those 4 points would be if the Sharks had taken both games against Seattle. They'd be at 48 points. They would have a 6-point cushion between themselves and the team on the outside looking in. I mean, you can look at points percentage, and they actually have a better points percentage than Anaheim right now. And Anaheim's played one more game. But, of course, Calgary is at 600, so you can look at that. I don't know who did Nano sacrifice a chicken to almost score a goal tonight. Well, he scored a goal. He just was about a stride offside. Hashtag that's so Sharks. I mean, come on. PJ48 saying it's time to put Shimmick back in over Magna. Rotate them, put the best one in. I was listening to the Sharks audio network today, and everybody was saying, hey, we really like what Jacob Magna has done for the Sharks, filling in for Jake Middleton, and Middleton is expected to start skating again, so hopefully he will be back to go. If you want to go stats, Scott Reedy's shooting percentage this season is 35%. Hey, that sounds pretty good to me. Let's maybe give Reedy another shot, and preferably not on the fourth line. I know that's tough to do, but come on now. So keep playing Merkley. I like Ryan Merkley with Marc-Edouard Vlasic. I think that they've worked pretty solid there. So, and definitely gives you another option on the power play. The thing is, and I think a lot of teams are catching on with it, is that if you pressure Merkley, he kind of gets a little worried and starts skating around, which leads to him having, it leads to having a him frantically, going around. It's almost like when the pressure's coming on Jimmy G and he's about to get sacked, he gets a little bit of the happy feet. So with that, I think we're pretty much finished up here. Again, thanks for the quotes, AJ, and everybody commenting in the chat. These solo shows are always a little rough, but I always do my best to bring you the tell it like it is story going with the Sharks. So if you missed anything or you want to watch this again, check us out on tealtownusa.com or your favorite podcatcher, whether it's Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, YouTube, SoundCloud, Spotify, TuneIn, iHeartRadio, and always available at tealtownusa.com. Jumbo Polini, get Nick Merkley back in the lineup. I like Nick Merkley as well. I don't understand why he doesn't get more of a chance at it, but we'll see. We'll see down the road. I think Bob's going to have to change some stuff around, So with that, we will leave you. Hey, Saturday, we're celebrating Sharky's birthday early. He's turning 30. Sharky's turning 30, folks. The special jersey giveaway, if anybody doesn't want their extra large Sharky jersey, you know where to find me, at Puckeye14 on the Twitter and the Instagram. So hit that up. But of course, always hit us up on Teal Town USA on the YouTube channel. We thank you, over 2,566 subscribers joining us. It'd be great to see. We expand. So tell a friend, hit that like button, hit that notification bell to notify you when we do go on the air, and enjoy this great game that we call hockey. Now, we all know there's another football game going on Friday or Saturday night at 5:15. So should be interesting to see how this one is attended with the Sharks and the Tampa Bay Lightning. Precursor to the road trip. In fact, the next time the Sharks after the this is the last home game before the All-Star break. So you're not going to see the Sharks for a while until after the Super Bowl at home. So that'll be interesting. We should actually touch on the poll question tonight. Your thoughts of the best Sharks 3+ goal game. Of course, better than which one did you like the most? Of course, and Google signs me out, which is terrific as you're doing a live streaming show. Let me get to this here. I got to go through an ad. And of course, and of course the poll died. So with that, we'll get out of here with that. So for everyone here at Teal Town USA, thank you for watching. We'll be back with you on Saturday night following Sharks and Lightning. And until then, keep it real, keep it teal, keep it real teal. Have a great night, everyone. We will see you on Saturday night.